Welcome back to LittleLee and Rose. My name is Summer Noel, and today we're going to do a very fun cup. Now we're going to kind of go back to our roots on this one. We're going to take a couple steps back. I've been showing you guys a lot of really advanced techniques. I'm going to keep going with those advanced techniques and take you deeper and deeper and deeper. But I know there's a lot of people that watch this channel that are newbies and they want to learn the basics. So I've got a few of the basic tutorials out already, and we are going to just keep going with this one. This is going to be a painted ombre glitter tumbler. So we're going to do the ombre with the colors of the paint, not necessarily the glitter. Some people really struggle with getting those ombre glitters to blend well in the middle. This is an option for still having that beautiful ombre, but not having to try to figure out that middle section. Again, if you do want to learn that, I have many tutorials about it. You can go back on the channel and watch those. Just click on LittleLee and Rose and it will take you back to all my videos. You can learn some other new tips and tricks and hacks through those videos. But we are going to jump right into this one. Now, if you've never prepped a cup, jump on my channel, click on LittleLee and Rose, scroll way back to the beginning where I do a tutorial that's called How to Prep Your Cup. And that's going to show you what to do with the base of this cup to bring you up to the next few steps that we're going to do. I'm not going to repeat that because a lot of people that watch my channel have seen that video a million times and have studied up and brought themselves up to speed on that. So we're just going to jump right in this cup. So if you need to learn that, go ahead and jump back on the channel, watch that, and join us back here. All right, guys, so I'm going to take this cup, I'm going to go get it prepped, and I'm going to spray paint it with the dual colors like you've seen me do in other tutorials with these two colors. I'm going to do black on the bottom and the aqua on top. Now, what I'm going to actually do is going to do the black on the bottom, then I'm going to do a layer of white along the top. I'm going to ombre it down the middle, then I'm going to do the green over the top. I just don't want the green to be super green, so I'm actually going to dilute it a little bit with that white so that it actually gives a softer look. So we're going to go outside and do that. Then we're going to come back in and we're going to work with this glitter. This is the irregular cut glitter. It's very beautiful. It's different than what you've seen. It's almost similar to like that fake snow that you get in the wintertime, but it's cut more fine than that. But it's very pillowy and very sparkly. So we're going to be working with this one. All right, guys, so we're going to go outside. I'm going to spray paint this cup and we'll be right back. Oh, sorry, I've got to prep it first and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, now we've got the cup. I've cleaned up all the extra, and we've just now got the cup sitting here. We're just going to take this, and we are going to press that glitter down. We want to try to get it as flat to the cup as possible. Now, while you're doing this, you're going to lose some of the glitter. There's going to be fallout. That's fine. It's just glitter that probably had nowhere to go in the first place, and we don't want it sitting there. So we're just going to press this down firmly all over the cup, and we're going to just let it cure. But you can see that by pressing this down, it makes it sit flatter, and so we won't need as much epoxy to cover it. But you see how just that beautiful ombre, where it just fades very gently from the black into this beautiful green. The green has texture. It's not just flat one color. I don't know if that's coming on camera, but because I used the two different colors at the top with the light and the dark, you can see there's like slight variations where it's a little bit lighter here, it's a little bit darker here, a little darker over here. And it just adds that little punch of texture. I'm always about the details, and even though this is going to be a more basic cup, the detail is in the beauty of this irregular cut glitter and the texture of the colors together. Even right here where it starts blending, and it kind of goes gray into the black with the blue gray. It's absolutely gorgeous right here in the shift. It's very simple, but it's very gorgeous. And just sitting on the counter when we finish this up with the decal and all the little extra things that we're going to do to it, it's going to be a very stunning cup. All right, guys. So we're just going to let this sit here overnight. We've got that glitter all pressed down and nice and flat, and we will be back to keep on keeping on with the next steps. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. All right, guys. We are back. I've got a bunch of turners going around me, so you're going to hear the humming of all the motors because I've got a bunch of them going. We're going to work on this big old beast now. I've got my epoxy mixed part A and B, and now we are going to coat it. I mixed a full 30 mLs. I might need to mix more. This is a very large cup. This is a 40 ouncer, guys. I will probably end up keeping this one as a personal cup because I need a really whopping huge cup right now. I'm trying to make myself drink more water, but this will drink up more epoxy than you're used to because of this style glitter. It's chunkier and thicker and kind of doesn't lay as flat, so it just takes more glitter to get it laying down. So sometimes what I do is I'll add a layer, a thin layer, kind of what we're doing now, get it really tacked down with that epoxy, and then come back tomorrow and add a flood coat over the top. So we'll see as we go. Just gonna be, I might have to go mix a little more because even 30 was not enough to get even a thin coat on it. Yeah, this glitter, you can see how absolutely stunning this glitter is though. But it does drink up the epoxy. So I've got a little left. Put some on the bottom. So you can see where the black, and it just really pops where the black and this has gone over it. So pretty. All right, I'm gonna put you on pause here, guys, and I'm gonna go mix some more epoxy, but we'll be right back. All right, guys, I mixed up a little bit more. We're just gonna keep going. There was a spot that didn't even have any epoxy on it. All right, guys. That is 60 mLs. That is a lot of epoxy on one cup. But it's gonna be worth it. It'll be a beautiful cup. So if we hadn't actually sat and hand pressed that glitter down, this would be a total nightmare because there'd be so much glitter poking up. All right. I just got busted talking to myself just there for a second. Very quietly, I was talking to myself. Don't tell anybody. All right, guys, now we got that on. Now we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna take our heat torch. I cleaned off my brush. We're gonna take our little kitchen torch. We're gonna pop all our micro bubbles. You don't want to use it too much because you don't want to actually melt that glitter. Our whole goal here is just to get rid of any micro bubbles. All right, guys, now we're just gonna let this bad boy turn for probably about 9 hours. We're gonna come back, we're gonna add another layer of epoxy. I might do a gentle sanding just to knock off some of these little sharp points. And then do our second coat of epoxy, but we're gonna wait and see what it looks like and how it feels until after this round has cured up for about 9 hours. All right, guys, so here we go. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back with this beautiful cup. We are going to do a little bit of sanding on it now because there's still a few little rough spots. So I'm going to wear my little dust particle mask. You always want to wear this when you're working with sanding epoxy. You don't want to breathe in any of those little particles that are going to fly up in the air. Now there's just a few little rough spots. We're just going to basically go and bump these off with this. This is 220 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to go along the edge where it's a little rough up here. And I'm just going to basically do a whole little bit of sanding around the whole cup to give it a slightly better, smoother finish before we go ahead and add all of our decals. Now you want to make sure you have a smooth surface before doing any decal work, you guys, because all these lumps and bumps will show through the decal and through the epoxy. So you want to make sure that the bumps are gone. You don't want to necessarily sand really, really hard all the way down and get rid of the bumps, because you might sand all the way down to the paint and the actual glitter. You don't want to do that. Now what you want to do is sand a little bit, get it like I'm doing here, knock off all the big heavy pieces, get them, the big chunky pieces that are sticking up, get a relatively smooth finish, and then we're going to do one more layer of epoxy. Now the reason we're also doing another layer of epoxy is because if you're going to be working with water slides, which is what we're going to do with this cup, this rough finish behind will stay rough looking behind a water slide. So you will actually be able to see your water slide, because you will be able to see the sanded part behind the clear film. So you want to put a full layer of epoxy down before you do your water slide so that you have this beautiful glossy finish, not a sanded finish, because that sanded finish, like I said, will show through the water slide paper, guys. So it's important to make sure you do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sand this, then we're going to put it on the turner, and we're going to put one more thin layer of epoxy over it. That's going to smooth out all the ripples and give us a smooth, glossy, shiny surface. All right, so I'm going to finish this sanding out and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so now we're here at this point. You can see there's a lot of dust. This is why you wear your particle mask, guys, because you see this is all stuff you'd be breathing in, and that's not good for you to breathe in, guys. So definitely make sure I still have my particle mask on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gorgeous cup and I'm going to take it and wash it with Dawn soap and water. Then I'm going to put it in front of a fan and let it air dry, probably for a couple hours. Make sure it's really, really dry before we start the next step. Now you'll see I did a lot of sanding on this one. When you're working with these bigger cuts, the larger the chunky or this like irregular cut, you end up having to do a little bit more sanding because it is a little more difficult to cover. But you can see I sanded it down, got it all smooth, all the bumps are rubbed off. Now we're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna wash it, let it dry, then we'll come back and we will do a round of epoxy to get a very nice smooth gloss finish. All right, guys, we'll be back. All right, guys, we are at the fun stage and we're gonna add the water slide. Now, I'm sorry about all the noise in the background. You're gonna hear my other turners, they're all running. We're doing a lot of tutorials today. So today we are gonna do, we're gonna put the face on. So this is Freya. I just named her Freya, there's a reason, but it's my little secret reason. And we're gonna drop her down in the water. I'm just gonna cut off some of these corners that are just white. We don't need them. They're just not needed. Cut right around the image, just like that. So we just took off the little extra bit that we didn't need. Oh, there's a little glitter on there. How funny. Glitter everywhere here at Swag City. So now we're gonna take this and we're gonna drop it down the water. I'm gonna drop it down face first because they do tend to curl. I'm gonna hold on to it. Sorry, I am wearing my gloves. You don't need to wear gloves for this step. I'm just doing so much epoxy work today. With the workshop wide open, we're just hanging out with the whole house vent going and the workshop doors open. And I'm just cruising through, and so I'm not bothering to take off my gloves and stuff. But we're just gonna let this sit in here in the water bath for about 90 seconds. And then we're gonna test it to see if it's ready to slide, and we're gonna get it on the cup. Alright, as you guys can see, we had a small mishaps where I forgot to reverse my image. So I'm gonna pull this off, but you guys see the point. You soak it in water. You do not pre-wet the surface. When you're working with LittleLee and Rose water slide paper, I had it specifically designed with glue on both sides. You can do it and adhere it by pressing it face down, pressing firmly and sliding. But I forgot to reverse the image on this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and reprint these, reverse the image, and do the exact same process you just watched me do. Get these words on there correctly, done the right way, and we'll keep on moving. All right, guys, here we go. All right, guys, we are gonna apply our water slide now. We've got 2 of them in the water bath already. This is just room temperature water. It's not hot, it's not cold. It's just kind of mellow to the touch. We are going to be applying them one at a time. These are gonna be our words. I'm doing the words on water slide because they're so fine. You're gonna see them here, just a sec. Oh, I'm applying it backwards. This one I want to show you guys how to apply this the front way. What I call the opposite way of what I do normally. So we slide it off the paper just a touch, adjust it, hold it with our fingers, grab just the corner of the paper, and slide it out. Then to keep it to where you can keep playing with it and moving it around, you just keep it wet. Then I use my silicone brush to work out all the water and all the air bubbles and get it laying really flat onto the cup. So see, if I had tried to cut these tiny little words out with my Cricut, it probably wouldn't have gone well. My Cricut would have just chewed up the vinyl and it would have looked terrible and it would have been so much work. So by doing it this way, we put it on water slide. I ran it through the printer twice. So I print the black image 2 times to make sure it's very, very nice and crisp black and very easy to see. Okay, now we're gonna add the second one. Making sure it's perfectly straight. Now we're gonna add the second one the same way. We're just gonna slide it off the paper, lay it down, hold it with our hand, and then slide the backing out from underneath it. Then we're gonna dip some water onto it, make sure it stays real nice and mobile, lined up exactly how we want it. Then we're gonna take our silicone brush and we're gonna work out all the air bubbles and all the extra water from behind it. So this is just a way to put words on your cup in really, really fine detail without having to try to cut that vinyl, because it's very, very difficult to do. All right, guys, now we're gonna let this completely dry and then we'll spin it over and we will add the image on the other side. All right, guys, this cup is done. It's gorgeous. What I did was I took a hot knife, which is basically like a soldering knife that you would use for wood burning, and I used it to clean the edge up around the top of the lip of the cup. The hot knife just kind of cuts through the epoxy and gives you a nice smooth flat surface against the top. We have finished this cup out. It's gorgeous. It's got a nice smooth glossy finish. The ombre is perfect. This is done with just spray paint and 1 glitter color. We used Joshua, then we used Freya as our decal. This will all be available on our website, you guys. All the tools and supplies and everything you saw will also be available. I hope you guys learned something fun on this one. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next tutorial. Bye, guys.